Yesterday, we stopped reading at who is this book intended for? The first, those who are not yet acquainted with the Buddha's discourses who feel the need for a systematic introduction. The second type is meant for those who are already acquainted with the suttas but still cannot see how they fit together into an intelligible whole. Okay, let's continue reading the next paragraph. This anthology, or any anthology of suttas, is no substitute for the Nikayas themselves. My hope is twofold, corresponding to the two types of readers for whom this volume is designed. First, the newcomers to early Buddhist literature find this volume whets their appetite for more and encourages them to take the plunge into the full Nikayas. And second, that experienced readers of the Nikayas finish the book with a better understanding of material with which they are already familiar. So the Bhikkhu body intend to have two purposes for this book. Firstly, to whet our appetite, encourage them to read more Nikayas. Oops. Secondly, for experienced readers to finish the book with a better understanding of the material. Okay, next paragraph. Sister Saikyang, would you like to read?
If this anthology is meant to make any other point, it is to convey the sheer breadth and range of the Buddha's wisdom. While early Buddhism is sometimes depicted as a discipline of world renunciation intended primarily for ascetics and contemplatives, the ancient discourses of the Pali Canon clearly show us how the Buddha's wisdom and compassion reach into the very depths of mundane life, providing ordinary people with guidelines for proper conduct and right understanding. Far from being a creed for a monastic elite, ancient Buddhism involved the close collaboration of householders and monastics in the twin tasks of maintaining the Buddha's teachings and assisting one another in their efforts to walk the path to the extinction of suffering. To fulfill these tasks meaningfully, the Dharma had to provide them with deep and inexhaustible guidance, inspiration, joy, and consolation. It could never have done this if it had not directly addressed their earnest efforts to combine social and family obligations with an aspiration to realize the highest. Thank you.
Thanks again. This paragraph shows that Buddhism is not only for the monastics, but the breadth and range of the Buddha's wisdom reach into the very depths of mundane life, the life of lay people, like all of us. Okay, next paragraph. Sister Billy, would you like to read?
Almost all the passages included in this book have been selected from the above-mentioned publications of the four Nikayas. Almost all have undergone revisions, usually slight but sometimes major, to accord with my own evolving understanding of the text and the Pali language. I have newly translated a small number of suttas from the Anguttara Nikaya, not included in the above-mentioned Anthology. I have also included a handful of suttas from the Udana and Itivuttaka, two small books belonging to the fifth Nikaya, the Khuddaka Nikaya, the minor or miscellaneous collection. I have based this on John D. Ireland's translation, published by the Buddhist Publication Society in Sri Lanka. But again, I have freely modified them to fit my own preferred diction and terminology. I have given preference to suttas in prose over those in verse, as being more direct and explicit. When a sutta concludes with verses, if these merely restate the preceding prose, in the interest of space, I have omitted them.
Thanks, Sister Billy.
Thank you.
Okay, so almost also all the passages chosen from this book is from the above four main Nikayas. The connected discourse, Samyutta Nikaya, the middle length discourse, Majjhima Nikaya, the long discourses, Digha Nikaya, and the last one, the numbered discourses, Anguttara Nikaya. This line is interesting. These two lines. Okay, let me highlight this. Almost all have undergone revisions, usually slight, but sometimes major, to accord with my own evolving understanding of the text and the Pali language. So Bhikkhu Bodhi is always learning the Pali language, and his understanding of the language always evolves. And occasionally I attend his class on Saturday evening, and sometimes I notice that during the class itself, he make a revision of the translation after he has new understanding, and then he mark out on the document itself, cross out the word, and then now I prefer these words instead of the other words. Even though both texts are translated by him, he still make a revision. That really shows of an attitude that Singapore encourages, lifelong learning. Okay, next paragraph. Sister Shomi, would you like to read? You're muted. Okay.
Sorry, starting from each.
Yep, this one.
Each chapter begins with the introduction in which I explain the salient concepts relevant to the theme of the chapter and try to show how the texts I have chosen exemplify that theme. To clarify points arising from both the introductions and the text, I have included endnotes. These often draw upon the classical commentaries to the Nikayas ascribed to the great South Indian commentary Acharya Buddha Gosa, who worked in Sri Lanka in the 5th century CE for the sake of concision. I have not included as many notes in this book as I have in my other translations of the Nikayas. These notes are also not as technical as those in full translations.
Thanks, Sister Shomi. As we will see later when we read the actual content, there is introductions and also the text itself. And on top of that, there's also endnotes. I find this endnotes is pretty helpful, which is taken from the commentary. And if you take a look at the Nikayas itself, let's say Majjhima Nikaya, the endnotes is really comprehensive. But for these introductory purposes, Bhikkhu Bodhi has cut down, for the sake of concision, he said here. For this concision, for the sake of giving a lot of information clearly and in few words, brief but comprehensive. Okay, next paragraph, Sister Singhui, would you like to read?
References to the sources follow each selection. References to the text from the Digha Nikaya and Majjhima Nikaya cite the number and name of the sutta in Pali. Passages from these two collections retain the paragraph numbers used in the long discourse of Buddha and the middle length discourse of the Buddha. So readers who wish to locate these passages within the full translations can easily do so. References to texts from the Sutta Nikaya cite Samyutta and Samyutta and Sutta number. Text from the Anuttara Nikaya cite Nipata and Sutta number. The ones and the twos also cite chapters within the Nipata followed by the Sutta number. References to the text from the Udana cited Nipata and Sutta number. Text from the Itivuttaka cite simply the Sutta number. All references are followed by the volume and page number in Pali Text Society's standard edition of these books.
Thanks, Sister Singhui. This paragraph basically just shows how Bhikkhu Bodhi referenced the actual sutta itself, in case we want to read the full sutta. Okay, let me check. Okay, this is actually the last paragraph for the preface. Brother Waken, would you like to read?
Okay, this is the acknowledgements part.
Yeah.
All right. I am grateful to Timothy McNeil and David Kittlestrom of Wisdom Publications for urging me to persist with this project in the face of long periods of indifferent health. Samanera Analayo and Bhikkhu Nyana Subhano read and commented on my introductions, and John Kelly reviewed proofs of the entire book. All three made useful suggestions, for which I am grateful. John Kelly also prepared a table of sources that appears at the back of the book. Finally, I am grateful to my students of Pali and Dhamma studies at Bodhi Monastery for their enthusiastic interest in the teachings of the Nikayas, which inspired me to compile this anthology. I am especially thankful to the monastery's extraordinary founder, Venerable Master Jen Chun, for welcoming a monk of another Buddhist tradition to his monastery and for his interest in bridging the northern and southern transmissions of the early Buddhist teachings.
Okay, with this we end the preface. Any questions or comments? This last paragraph is actually interesting to me. I invited one other student to attend Bhikkhu Bodhi's class, and inside the class, he actually, at some point, stopped and asked our opinion about a certain passage. And then my friend was surprised. Oh, wow, Bhikkhu Bodhi at this level has translated so many Nikayas, still so humble, and asked our opinions about the matter. Yes, this paragraph shows me the humbleness of Bhikkhu Bodhi and his gratitude, even towards his students. while in fact, we are the one who are the most thankful to him for translating for all of his work. Okay, any comments or questions before we end for today? If not, let's do a dedication. I'd like to extend this dedication for those currently suffering in the war. May those in suffering be free from suffering. May those in fear be free from fear. May those in sorrow be free from sorrow. May all living beings also be thus, and may they be able to achieve peaceful resolution. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，实是长行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a good day ahead. Simple message. Bye everyone. Thanks for participating.
Thank you, Marcel. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.